So, why does Elon Musk say saving for retirement will be irrelevant in the next 20 years? And irrelevant is that's a direct quote from him. Why is he saying that? Well, his answer is AI, robotics, and all his tech is going to be so awesome. We're all going to be rich, and there's going to be no poverty. Every time I talk about what Elon's saying, it's like so ridiculous. But sadly, this is the timeline that we're on, where Elon Musk and Donald Trump want to replace all of you with data centers, basically. That's what it boils down to. And I want to go over what this is going on. So first, this is from Elon. He says, quote, "One side recommendation I have is don't worry about squirreling money away for retirement in the next 10 or 20 years. And he calls it squirreling money, right? A squirrel collecting nuts. I guess you're squirreling money. It won't matter. That's according to Elon Musk as he's talking on the Moonshot podcast. Quote, "If any of these things we've said are true, saving for retirement will be irrelevant." And he's talking, there's going to be AI advancements, energy, robotics, right? Supercharging your productivity. It's going to create tons of abundance, everything, right? All the resources that would allow everyone to be granted, quote, "a universal high income." So money's just going to fall from the sky, according to Elon Musk. He also says good fortune is in anyone can have whatever stuff they want. That's according to Elon. Better medical care than anyone has today, available for everyone within 5 years. No scarcity of goods and services. You can learn anything you want about anything for free, according to Elon. And then now, if you actually can get all the stuff you want, is that actually the future you want? Because it means your job won't matter. That's how Elon thinks about money and you. Basically, don't worry about saving. Give him all the money and trust that he will provide in the future. It is so whacked out. I can't believe we're on this timeline. And the thing that's interesting about this stuff is as Elon's trying to push all these data centers and the dream that we're all going to be rich from all the AI, people are actually losing trust in AI. And this is from NBC today. AI is intensifying a, quote, collapse of trust online, experts say. And basically, there's just so much fake images, AI slop, you can call it. And many channels that you guys watch actually either have full AI videos. And I know you guys are watching this because I can see the analytics on my channel. So meaning that I know which channels you guys watch. And some of these channels are putting out AI generated thumbnails where they take like someone's real picture and manipulate it, be it their hair, their eyes, or where they are in an office or whatever, or talking to someone. I find that AI stuff, frankly, really, really misleading, and I would turn off those channels. But that's just my opinion on that. You can have yours. And in fact, this has been a recent thing. Remember the shooting in Minnesota? People took the image of the guy, and I think it was Jonathan Ross is his name, and they were trying to figure out, okay, what the guy look like under the mask? And it came up, when you feed it through the AI, it came up with like 3 different images, because basically what these things are doing, right, they're matching some sort of nose and mouth, whatever, with other pictures, and then kind of jigsaw stuff together. But just be careful out there, the stuff you see these days. If I didn't know that this AI technology exists, right, I was that's the idea of the shoot ever. But you always want to be really, really careful with this stuff. This comes, it says, see how AI images claiming to reveal Minneapolis ICE agents' face spread confusion. And this is going to be a big problem going forward, as Elon Musk is essentially promising everyone you're all going to be rich, yet this technology is confusing people even more. Like, reality is becoming extremely distorted. He wants to expand his data center thing in Mississippi. $20 billion is what he says. And while this is going on, he's getting major pushback from multiple countries. So actually in Europe, that they're a little bit more restrictive than, say, the USA. And the big deal right now, as I've told you guys before in prior videos, is that if you give Elon Musk, prompts or whatever, you can generate images of children, basically, like Epstein style stuff, right? And manipulated, they say here, sexualized images, but you get the idea how that would be bad. And the other way you could describe it would be non-consensual. That's how they describe it here. Here's when Elon Musk will finally have to reckon with his non-consensual porn generator. That's basically what it is. It's interesting. There's been pushback in Congress. This is from Amy Klobuchar. She says, outrageous, referring to Elon Musk's, chatbot that It basically has a lot less restrictions than others. They just put the restrictions today to where like only paid users can do the stuff. But I think technically you're maybe still able to generate these kind of images perhaps. But Amy Klobuchar, she says, outrageous. No one should find AI created sexual images of themselves online, especially children. X must change this. If they don't, my bipartisan, quote, take it down act will soon require them to. And I'm right there with you, Amy, or Senator Klobuchar. I completely agree. And this has actually been a really, really big issue here in Korea. You have people that would just basically make fake images, use their classmates' images and make fake stuff and then sell it online, etc. So there's a real problem with that. And you have to remember, like someone like Elon who's pushing this stuff, the dude's an addict. He's completely whacked out. He tweets out basically mustache party stuff all the time. This was the latest headline. Elon Musk shares Starlink post endorsing white solidarity, right? That kind of stuff. You guys get it. And will this AI stuff, make us as rich? Let's just forget about Elon Musk being crazy and wacko and, all the stuff that he does. What about the actual technology itself? There was this interesting study that was, this was in the Washington Post and they shared it. It says, can AI do your job? See the results from hundreds of tests. So there's lots of different tasks that, you do at your work on a daily basis. And basically, regardless of which one you're using, be it, I don't know Manus one. If you guys know that one, you can let me know. I don't know which one that is. But it's Manus, XAI Grok, Anthropic Sonic, OpenAI, Google Gemini. And basically just for real-world tasks, 240 real-world tasks, remote work projects. It's like these AI things can only do like 1% to 2% of it. Now, will they get better? Probably. Can AI be used for something? Sure, right? For automated tasks, sure. But I think we're still a long ways from essentially, living the fantasy where we're going to have universal high income according to Elon, and we're all going to live on our couch and, play video games and work's going to be optional. Again, that was according to Elon. He said that before and also in the interview. What's interesting is that I didn't realize it was like this. I knew that there were data centers going out all over the USA, but I didn't know there was like really pushback in rural areas from local people. And that's why I like to share this with you. So this says the data center rebellion is here and it's reshaping the political landscape. You can see there's this gentleman here. He has this big sign, no data center, petition here. I'll read a little bit what they're saying. Kyle Schmidt, leader of the newly formed Project Sand Springs Alliance, quote, we are all here asking, where are the people we elected who promised to protect us from these big corporations trying to steamroll us? The people who are supposed to be standing up and protecting us are standing down and caving. Because remember, Elon Musk throws a whole bunch of money around, and he was saying he's going to be trying to be a big help to the Republican Party. And this has been a big or I think the phrase was all in, I think that's what he said. But remember, the Republicans have been really pushing for this data center stuff. That's been one of Trump's big initiatives. Melania Trump, she was like, oh, we got to get more AI in schools. I made videos on this stuff, but basically they're getting donor money to push these kind of AI policy things. But regular people don't necessarily seem to want it. Here's some more. It says, we know Trump wants data centers and Kevin Stitt wants data centers, but these things don't affect these people. That's from Brian Ingram, a Trump voter living in the shadow of the Plan project. This affects us. So even Trump voters can see like, man, these data centers maybe not so great. Ingram was standing before a homemade sign he planted on his front lawn that said, Jesus was born on egg land. And that's this person here. And he's like for stop rezoning, right? Basically doesn't want a data center in his neighborhood, which I understand. A big issue that a lot of people have is, your electricity rates will go up because it's just simple math. I mean, if suddenly you build this big data center in your neighborhood that, sucks up a lot of power, you have more scarcity of power, right? Because there's more demand. What do you think is going to happen to your rates? Of course, they're going to go up. And I guess in some of these neighborhoods, I'd like to hear from you all, if you have these in your neighborhoods, you'll have like these sort of community town hall things look something like this. And people will come and express like, I don't want a data center in my, neck of the woods. And, it's funny because the basic gist of it is just, for example, if someone says, okay, we're going to come and build a data center, like what is the actual benefit? Because it's not really going to be that many jobs. And I think people might actually be figuring it out already. Remember, the jobs are going to be in building the dang thing. But then after it's done, it just doesn't take that many jobs to, keep it running. Now, be fair, I think there will be some jobs. I've heard maybe like electricians may have a job both in construction and maintaining it. Probably if security, there'll be jobs protecting the data centers. That's a real thing. And then just a few more. And if you guys work in a data center, because I think some people in our community do, I know that we have a couple people in our community at least that like work in the design of these things. We've talked about this stuff before in the past. But for many of these, local residents and oftentimes in small towns, they might not necessarily be benefited in that way. And we've talked about this also, it's a big issue to where theoretically, right, there could be more tax dollars coming to the neighborhood, to say theoretically, but oftentimes the local governments, whoever the politicians are, everyone city's going to be different, but maybe giving tax breaks to try to tax, say, attract said data center. So then the regular local just really aren't going to win. I don't think it's a shocker to you. That's how the system works. But I'm just showing you guys, that's why there's pushback here. This is another one. It's interesting. There's like a no data center. I guess you call this a float. Let me read a little bit more, because I didn't know this one either. It says many local politicians are yielding to community pressure and rejecting data centers. So now there's starting to be pushback. Between April and June, more projects were blocked or delayed than during the previous 2 years combined. That's according to Data Center Watch, a tracking project by nonpartisan research firm 10A Labs. Some $98 billion in planned development was derailed in a single quarter. So there is getting to be enough pushback on this stuff to where they're canceling some projects. Here's some more from Amazon. Amazon did not respond to the questions about the controversy, saying only, quote, we do not have any commitments or agreements in place to develop this project. It's whatever data center they're talking about here. And then here's another one. People are understandably asking how they will benefit. And that's coming from OpenAI, because then they say you need to be on the ground having these conversations. It is a journey. You're going to find more signs from local people. No harmful data center here. And it says planning commission, right? And it's like come to a meeting. You're going to have more people writing stuff out, like votes for Amazon tech equals for ICE. That's what the one person says. Here's some more. Quote, this data center expansion affects so many issues, okay? It takes up farmland in rural communities. It takes up dwindling water sources in communities that need cleaner drinking water, and is driving up electricity prices for everyone. It is drawing together people from disparate backgrounds who might not agree on other political issues. They're saying this is taking place without any forethought to communities, and we must stop it. And it's interesting because I know there's a lot of stuff to talk about in any given news cycle day, but this is actually, and I've told you guys before, that there are some issues. I think if someone were running for office, that this would be very attractive to people on both sides of the aisle. You say, hey, I'm here to make sure that your electricity rates stay pretty okay, right? Like, I know it's expensive now, but I mean, just like at least not go up. I'm here to, make sure that your jobs aren't taken by robots and AI and stuff like that. I mean, because like, what's the benefit of all these data centers other than, I guess, I can make a bunch of fake images of, whoever that I want, I guess, and, give Elon money. I think it could be a real winning issue for people. And then you also have the environmental concerns as well. Here's another local person quote. He says, quote, I don't care how much chocolate icing you put on a dog turd. It don't make it chocolate cake. Another quote. They are trying to fluff this data center thing up and say, man, eat this birthday cake. But it isn't birthday cake. So I love some of these things that people say. It's fantastic. Here's another one. We want to see this data center go away and go someplace else. This town deserves a better centerpiece than a data center. They keep coming to smaller and smaller towns. Leave mine alone. And another person, this is a retired law enforcement officer, says, I moved here from California to get away from BS like this. So that's what's going on. And, you can see obviously there's a clear distinction. People like Elon, the billionaire class, they want more data centers. They want to place you, and they basically give you a bunch of false promises. But local people on the ground in these examples understand what's going on, and they don't want it. So I'd like to hear from you. Are you seeing this also in your neck of the woods? I always like to hear from our community, and I'll catch you on the next video.